Welcome to the Pigs Fly Nurture series. This is your source for marketing automation best practices. When you're finished here, feel free to check us out online at leadmd.com and visit our resources area. Enjoy. The topic of this week's Pigs Fly Nurture series is the science of great, and more specifically, the science of great content. When you look at most content that B2B marketers crank out, and feel free to kind of surf around on the vendors that you interact with, or maybe even your own site, take a look at some of that content and really put it through the ringer of, would I read this content in my spare time, on a plane, maybe an evening where we've got some time to research some material. Most of that content fails miserably. It's just plain boring. It speaks very much to the corporate individual through a lot of corporate lingo, buzzwords, and ultimately at the end of the day, it just doesn't build a lot of interest. So, keeping in mind that a system like marketing automation is heavily content driven, we need to remember that when we get some interaction with our online presence or with an email or with something that we pumped out through a social channel, we need to make sure that content is interesting. We need to make sure that it's great. So good content or content is king, but great content makes all the difference. So right now you're consuming a video, something that we put together as an short explanatory way to get you interested in marketing automation. I'm pretty adamant about saying no one looks at marketing automation and thinks it's a bad idea, but they feel generally unprepared for it. They don't know how to monetize it. They don't want to take on the responsibility for a big technology purchase like marketing automation software. So obviously we're trying to educate you through this content. We drink our own champagne very much in this regard. We're big proponents of cranking out good content and a lot of it. So when we engage with an organization who's looking to really reevaluate their current marketing process, determine how they engage with their buyer, it really all starts with those buyer personas and the content that we meet those buyer personas with. So as we evaluate that content pipeline, we need to take a hard look at maybe some of that content we've created in the past doesn't need to be in that pipeline. Some of it needs to be repurposed or formatted in a more engaging way. Video, blogs, podcasts, our more engaging interactive content really is great top of the funnel. It gets people coming back to the site, downloading more content, gets us more information about that buyer, and that's ultimately the end game goal. So when we're looking at our particular content funnels, we need to kind of look at that with fresh eyes oftentimes, and that's really our role within that process, is to provide that third-party perspective. A lot of times we're not familiar with the organization that we've just begun working with. We're not that familiar with what the true benefit statement of their solution or their product is. So it's a great learning experience for them as we go down that path with them and kind of look at what does that messaging say to us, how does it teach us about their product, and do we come away with an accurate view of what they're selling. And throughout that process we make recommendations and form a stronger content pipeline. And that's really what takes content from good to great. Does it convert? Does it speak to the buyer? And ultimately, will it engage them and want that individual to have a conversation with a sales individual or go online and transact with your online presence? So ultimately, great content is the driver of marketing automation and can be the sole differentiator between success and failure. Thanks for joining us, and feel free to check out our other Pigs Fly Nurture series videos. When you're ready for more, visit us online at leadmd.com and click on our resources area.